all of our grass is dead, but for some reason it's still dead and keeps growing. So it's just like this forest of dead grass. I don't understand it.
Man, that's funny.
Oh man. All right. I don't think I really have anything to chat about here. You guys ready to kick this thing off so we can go back to playing Destiny and getting our emblem?
Yeah.
Unless Musim's still playing it over there.
I'm weirded out. Sorry. I turned on Twitch and you turned on Twitch, and then I heard both of you talking at the same time, and I was like, which one is the real one?
Call or turn down radio.
Let me just pop out my chat as soon as it lets me. Why are you being like this, chat? What is happening? I clicked on something and it disappeared. It was confusing.
Oh, Twitch. You're so great and so infuriating.
There we go. That way I can, well... Let me arrange my screen. I feel like I should repost the links too. Oh man, my new keyboard's really loud, isn't it?
Wow, mechanical keyboard.
I mean, you don't have as loud of a keyboard as the Hannah does, but it's pretty close.
Wow.
Let me take some notes. Oh man.
Yeah, my keyboard died like I think 2 nights ago, and I went and bought this new one, which is where's my camera image? Which is the glowy blue thing.
Ooh, snazzy.
It's the most I've ever spent on a keyboard. I've always believed they should be $20, and instead I spent $60. But I got home and then the period key wouldn't work, and I was like, crap! Now I got to go to Best Buy and return this. And I got to Best Buy and it was closed.
Oh man.
And I was so bummed out, and I went home. I'm like, screw it, and then the keyboard key or the period key started working again. So
You just had to scare it.
evidently, yeah.
Man.
Like I was taking it back to the orphanage. So let's see. Okay, I got chat out. I got my notes. I'm ready.
Boy, it is starting to get really warm in this room. If I pass out, someone just text my fiance to come in here and poke me. Oh man. All right, you guys ready to start?
Yep.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels. This is RPG Love for September 2014. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the party, we got Musim.
Hello.
And we have Mina.
Hi, hi.
And I forgot to mention last month that we've been doing this for 3 years, which is plus whatever we did for the carousel, however long that was. 25 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. So 30 years of picking up pixels. It's really happy to, since 2000, whatever. My math isn't going to do very well since I'm under the weather here. All right, let's just get started with what you've been playing, Musim.
Okay. As usual, I played a whole bunch of stuff, mostly a little bit. I played a little bit more Icewind Dale. And man, D&D's second rules kind of hates the player, I've decided. Because like level 1 is horrible. Like level 1, you feel like a 6-year-old. Like you gotta have your parents cut your food, and like anyone can just knock you over and kill you, and it's just yeah, it's unfortunate. But so there's a lot of saving and then camping and then going and killing another group of creatures and then saving and then camping.
A lot of quick save, quick load going on.
Yeah. But like at the same time, I can also see how the form can evolve really well. So suffice to say, I didn't really play too much of that because it's basically like I was hanging out in the village. Because last time I think I talked about this, I just made my characters, and after exploring the village, there's this little boy who's like, there's a bunch of orcs or goblins or something down there that took my fish or something. And I went and found that I went and attacked him first, and then they slaughtered me. And then I realized that I could just activate one or two of them at a time.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So I kind of just hid on the edge of the screen and had my mage and my archer take them out. So yeah, cheesing it all the way there, and then made it into a cave, got past the first few battles, and then encountered a battle with like a dozen guys that I'm sure it's possible to win, but I have no idea how I'm gonna do it. So that was my extent with that. Let's see, I played a little bit more Digital Devil Saga. I still really, really, really love that game. I know some people might be hesitant because it doesn't have the big demon encyclopedia that the other Shin Megami Tensei games do, but man, that game is so good.
Is the encyclopedia pretty small compared to the other ones?
Well, no, there's not one. You don't summon things. You
Well
just
then,
are
never
demons.
mind.
It's like all the enemies are still as varied, but your main cast is I mean, the whole shtick on Digital Devil Saga is that you're these emotionless this emotionless tribe called the Embryon in the junkyard, and kind of the game starts when this crater hits with a package in it that turns out to be a unconscious woman who can't remember anything. But when that happens, it sends light through all the characters, and they start experiencing emotions for the first time. And they also turn into demons that eat each other.
I can finally feel things. Oh God.
Yeah.
This side effect.
I
Not
just
good.
like you get, you know, I might have talked about this a little bit last time, but like you get characters like Argala. That's probably not how you say her name, but that's how I'm reading it.
I would probably just read that as Argyle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or Arugula.
Yeah, pretty much. Arugula. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's voice acted by the major from Ghost in the Shell. I could be wrong, but
Oh, Kusanagi. I have no idea what her actual name is, but
is that the character's name?
I think so.
I have no idea. I think I've seen all the Ghost in the Shell stuff too.
It's okay.
But like her character is repulsed by the idea at first, and she won't gain, like, you have your experience and your AP, and she won't gain any AP points for the first couple missions because she refuses to eat. And then you have this other character, Heat, who, like, whenever you're kind of cruising around the world, all your characters are usually just hanging out whatever screen you're on. And you can go up to them and they'll offer comments. So you go to this big meeting in the main place I don't remember the name of, and so Heat's standing outside, and his comment is just, "There's food everywhere."
And you're just like, what game am I playing?
Well, you know, nice to see someone embrace cannibalism, or not.
Can I
don't
go
know.
back to an SMT game where I make friends with Pixie? That was okay.
It's like, it's not like a gory game at all. Like, they never show, like, I mean, you get like blood splatters occasionally, but like when you eat someone in combat, they turn into glowy bits and go in your mouth. You know,
Yeah, it's not like the beginning of the very first Resident Evil where a dude turns around and he's just chomping on someone.
Yeah, it's not like zombie level. Like, I would venture to say it has almost no gore in it. So, but I don't know. It's a neat game. I love it. The characters are really good, and the voice acting's really good. It is a PS2 game, so, you know, it's a little old, but I think it's still playable.
Yeah.
I also played, let's see, we'll go with Divinity Original Sin.
I want to play this so bad.
I bought this, I think, Friday night, or maybe Thursday night. I barely played any of it, but I already kind of love it. Yeah, like, I probably spent an hour in the character creation, and
That's actually a sign of a pretty good RPG where it's like, oh, I just spent like 3 hours and I just created my party. All right, well, I'm gonna take a break here.
Since you get to make two characters, it's like twice the
Oh,
problem.
even
Yeah.
better.
but you don't have to, like, it's not like a Bethesda game where you have to worry about, like, oh gosh, are their cheeks too high? Like, you're worrying about, like, what skills to give them and what stats to increase and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What did you end up making?
I made I forget the name of it now. A Shadow Blade? Is that what it was called? Like it was like they had one class where it was kind of a thief fighter that when they're standing in blood they heal.
Weird.
So I chose that one, and then I did a wizard, and I'm just gonna kind of try and focus the wizard entirely on magic.
The wizard will be amazing. I don't know too much about the Shadow Blade because after I rolled a thief, I think it was just a pure thief or something like that. I immediately regretted that decision and went tank and mage, and I was so much more happier because anybody can steal and do the stuff. It's just they need to fix thief, like the divinity.
As like yeah,
fix it.
yeah.
What's wrong with thief in particular?
It gets no pluses to anything really if you look at it. Like they get a lot of bonuses to lock picking and discovering traps and handling stuff like that, but you can do that with 0% skill. Also, you can just break chests open with an axe, and then it did the same amount of work, and the things inside the box, as far as I could tell in the early parts of the game, didn't get damaged. So I don't know, but from what I've heard on the forums, it's like thief is really, really bad, and they need to like modify it to make it better.
Yeah, give it some sort of perk.
Something like maybe more evasion or something that makes it kind of like unique,
thiefy,
worthy of like picking. But I don't know. Shadow Blade is like a little bit of thief and what else?
Well, they get like witchcraft, like the skills I start out with. I have two. What are they? Traits. Like the one trait where I stand in blood, and the other trait is, I don't remember the other trait. It doesn't matter. But like the skills like the spells and skills I get is I get this I get one witchcraft spell that I guess just does damage. I get a stun spell, and I get the ability to make a target bleed. And he's supposed to be good at sneaking, but I can't for the life of me figure out how to successfully sneak in combat.
Oh, I want to say you press like it's.
Well, no, I know where the sneak button is, but like it never works
combat.
when I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the other problems was it doesn't seem to work, or you have to get really high in the sneak tree or whatever to make it work. I
will say I love that there's basically no magic points in this game. Like.
Oh yeah, that is amazing. Like there's no MP bar is what you're trying to say. Like there's no you're not watching your MP degrade down and down and down, and you hit the bottom of the pool, and it's like, well, do I have any ethers? Can I?
Yeah. This character is now useless, so that's great. Or I can go spend a fortune on replenishing it.
And that's kind of what makes mages in this game kind of overpowered, is because you don't have to that sort of thing that normal games usually do have.
Do you have to manage anything for that, or you just keep casting spells?
You say.
Well, I don't. Honestly, I haven't figured out how to get new spells, but so far, like battle, they give you X amount of AP points, and so spells cost X amount of AP points. So, if you have 10 AP points and your spell costs 6 points, then you have 4 points left over. You can move or punch someone.
Oh, so it's basically taking out of your turn pool, basically. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
So you can kind of think of it kind of like, Fallout, or like if you remember Valkyria Chronicles, how you have like a certain amount of move steps or whatever. So every time you move, you use up a little bit of your AP counter. And every time you cast something, you use something on your AP counter. Everything costs AP.
That's
if
pretty
you just
cool.
stand there, you reserve it and get more back. But
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
It does.
It's super, super cool. One of the things that blew my mind in the game, because I always hit situations where they'll give me an option to do something bad, and I'm like, well, I'm really curious as to what happens, but I kind of don't want to do it. So this weird thing happened towards the beginning of the game. I found a singing clam who just wanted to be thrown back into the ocean.
Awesome.
And
I'm going to go buy this game right now.
I decided like at that point that okay, like it gave me a character option for one of my characters to choose a dialogue. I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm like, well, this character would probably be evil, so I, like that was my shadow sword or soul sword or whatever the heck she's called. So I opted for her to vote to take the clam and sell it, and then my mage I decided was the good one, and switched over to the mage dialogue. I'm like, okay, and then I chose the mage to say, don't you have a heart? You know, we should throw this into the sea. And then I just kept going back and forth, and then the game told me that my characters didn't agree, and I had to play paper, rock, scissors to determine
What?
the outcome.
Amazing.
So I wound up taking the clam with me to sell it. Like, I love it because it's gonna force me to do occasionally evil things that I always would have been like, huh, I wonder what would have happened, and instead played it, vanilla or something.
Right.
Jeez.
So if you decide to play multiplayer with someone else, just so you know, they get to choose the dialogue for that one character, whoever you give them as their characters to play as. So when you get your maximum amount of characters, which is 4, you can swap around the other 2, but your main 2 always stay in the party. So when you have your 4 characters, you can assign the other person who's co-oping in your game to control 2 or 1 or whatever amount of characters you want them to control. And when you go into those dialogue things, the other person will get to choose that other character's dialogue. So if you say something and then that person can say something and then you guys can debate and argue it over, and then the rock, paper, scissors thing will commence. So they can actually totally mess up your game. Just so you know, this is like grieving to the max. And the developers were like, yeah, we fully endorse the grieving. Just do it.
Wow.
You see, and I went into this game with the mentality of, look, I could spend hours researching this and probably make a pretty competent team, but instead, I'm just going to go on this blind, just get what I get and do what I do, and then if I start my game over after 5 or 10 hours or whatever, then so be it. But until then, I'm just going to have fun goofing around. So, and it's been kind of freeing in that aspect.
You're not reading all these wikis and being like, oh, I forgot to put 13 points into charisma. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you how to get more spells?
Yes.
Okay. So, everything in the game kind of has RNG. So if you open up a chest, it's RNG what could be inside of it. You could find a spell just randomly in a chest or not, and it could be something that you'll never ever use spell-wise. It doesn't look at you and say, oh, you have these skills, so we're going to make sure that this is in the loot pool. No, it's going to be completely random. So you can get it that way. Some merchants or some people will actually sell things. In fact, I think almost every character has their own barter window. So every time I talk to somebody who I've never met before, I go into the barter window to see what they've got in their
That's crazy.
inventory. Yeah, because I like some random dude could be walking around with the spell that you want and just be like, oh, let me buy that.
Wow.
So
That is crazy.
yeah, the spells have prerequisites. So when you first created your character, you were able to select what sort of starting stats and starting magic window sort of areas you can pick up or take, unless you just pick default, in which case you got whatever the game assigned those classes as. So when you level up, you get skill points to allocate to whether to upgrade your witchcraft or whatever tree you have going. So if you pick up a spell, you'll notice that the spell will say like some sort of requirement that it needs, like occultism or whatever, 1. And then you just need to unlock that in order to learn that level of a spell. So, yeah, no, the whole, it's a very huge D&D kind of build your own character sort of thing, and I really like it. Have you got to the first town yet, or have you just been exploring?
I could take you beat through beat. Like, I explored all the area I went. I discovered the clam and took him, which is funny because now he's in my inventory. But then I discovered 2 drunk guards, and the my evil character won again, so I wound up killing them.
Jeez.
And then I went around the corner, and there were all these goblins or orcs or something attacking, and I helped them out and got through it, and then got to, I guess, that town. And I found a burning boat, and I'm like, well, that's burning. There doesn't seem to be anything I can do here because I have no water spells at this point for some reason.
Oh.
You know the answer?
Well, I do, but I'm gonna let Boston know as well when he picks up this game. When the first area that drops you off on like this beachy area sort of thing, when you come across some random dead body, just randomly dead, just zoom in your screen really, really close and kind of observe that area. There will be a scroll of rain. Keep that until you find the burning boat.
Jeez.
It's a one-time use spell, but it's right there.
That's crazy.
I wonder if I got it then. I haven't really looked at my inventory that much.
Yeah.
Like in most games, I don't usually use scrolls, you know, like one-time use type stuff, so I almost never pay attention to it. But...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the use for that rain scroll, is just that.
Okay, cool. I will check on that. But that's literally all I played in that game. I need to get back to it. Every time I sit down to play it, I'm so tired, and it seems like it's written really good with lots of personality, and I just when you're tired and you're reading something like that, it's just non-conducive.
When you meet someone and they have 3 pages of text, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I gotta tell you, it was funny when I was helping the guards. They were like, "Where's so-and-so and so-and-so?" The 2 guards I'd killed. I'm like, please don't, please don't be like, "Huh, they were dead. That's weird. You guys came from that direction."
So odd.
Oh man, I need to give my wizards some. Like, I think there are some stats that might give them an advantage in the paper rock scissors thing. I could be wrong, but I probably need to give my wizards some of that so that I will quit doing evil things. But let's see. I also, of course, played Warframe. The big update for Warframe hit now, so it's only out on PC right now. But this is the update that I think will possibly change people's minds on the game, because now they have a game opening now. Like, they have an introduction. The voice acting's still kind of lousy, but they use their staff to do the voice acting, so that kind of explains.
So it's kind of charming.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, they're Canadian too, so like the Lotus, your kind of guide to everywhere, like, says about and outpost. So it's fun, but they do an intro, and then your guy wakes up, and then they actually have like a real tutorial, and they have like a set of, I think, 5 tutorial missions that you go through. And the first tutorial mission ends with you getting your own ship. And your ship is now kind of everything. So, like, you have a little foundry area where you craft weapons, where you can see actually this little device making it while you're waiting on it, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
The navigation system, you can only see the planets you've unlocked, and what it does is your guy basically kneels down in kind of front of the console, and then all these holograms kind of appear around him, which is pretty cool itself. It looks like the way you discover new places to go on other planets now. Like, previously it was you do all these missions and you do this one particular mission to unlock this planet. Now it appears that you find nav beacons at various locations in different planets that unlock different missions in different planet areas, which is interesting. I'm not sure if it's better or not, but it could potentially be better, or it could potentially be worse, because I don't have the new player perspective because I have everything unlocked, and my worry is that, like, Mercury is all the really easy missions, and then, like, it gets much, much harder when you get to Pluto. So what if you unlock, like, a Pluto mission while you're in Mercury? Like,
right.
That is not going to be fun to play at that point. But I don't, honestly, like, this update's so massive. I have a lot of faith in them to kind of resolve whatever needs to be resolved.
Well, at least they're trying to do something drastically different to the game. It's not, it's nice to see them not just sort of be like, well, yeah, we're making a lot of money off the platinum in the game, so just keep on playing. They're at least trying to do something different.
Well, and it really makes kind of the last year of Warframe feel like them kind of trying to perfect the game combat, and now they're going to look into throwing story and adding quest missions in. Because they also added a quest series of missions for the new frame you can get, Mirage. Which the only problem with that is like you can buy it for credits, which is it's the currency in the game that does not cost real money.
Okay.
So you can buy it for credits just in the regular store, but then you have to craft it, and unfortunately some of the materials you have to craft it with are a pain in the butt to get.
Oh, yeah.
Like one of them I can see because they want you to play this one particular mission type called the Vault Run, where you go to kind of this destroyed ship that's filled with infested, and like you take a key with you that gives your character a negative stat, but somewhere in that level is a vault that requires a certain key to open that'll give you a corrupted mod, which is a mod that gives you a positive and a negative, which can make you do really, really cool things. But point being is a little bit of a pain to unlock everything for that. But once you unlock the mission, it literally is you just do one mission, you get one part, you make that part, you get the second mission, and then rinse and repeat. And by the end of it, you have yourself a new Warframe. Which I think is much, much better than repeatedly fighting the same boss until he drops all the parts you need.
Yeah, that's never... I mean, World of Warcraft figured out that that's not fun.
Yeah. So the other thing they added to the game are Kubros, which are dogs, which are freaking awesome. Their goal with the Kubros is they want you to feel like it's a real dog that needs taken care of, which brings both positive ideas and really bad ideas into the gameplay. Like, for one, to get the Kubro, you have to do a quest to get through it, and they're hatched from eggs, so you go and catch an egg and get an incubator and some other stuff, and then it takes X amount of hours to develop, and then it's a puppy for a while. And you can't take the puppy with you on the mission. But you can interact with it, and like I guess the interactions with it are fairly limited, but it's mostly you'll pat it on its head or rub its belly or something. And then after, I think, 18 hours or something, it becomes full grown and you can take it on missions. But the negative part is that it has a loyalty meter.
Oh, no.
And like a health meter outside of combat. I haven't figured out what makes the health meter go up and down, but you have to buy this device from the store. It costs credits, but it costs a lot of credits, and it will restore its health. It'll restore like 40% or something, which I don't think is a good idea, and I think they should get rid of that entirely.
This sounds an awful lot like Tamagotchi.
I'm not familiar with Tamagotchi at all, so I don't know.
Oh, it was that little keychain toy from the 90s. Remember where you'd have to feed it every so often, and then everyone would come back and like, oh, I forgot about it for a day. Oh, it's dead. Great.
Yeah.
I'm worried about you like having to work a late night and come back and be like, oh, I'm gonna play some Warframe. Oh, my dog's dead. Crap.
Oh gosh, I don't think they can die. I think their stats just go negative, and they make you sad.
It's almost worse.
Like their loyalty, for instance, goes down whenever they die on a mission.
Are they just gonna run away at that point? Or it's like, your dog ran away, you're a monster.
God, that would be horrible.
It's a Neopets all over again.
Oh, that would be horrible. Like, all you do to restore loyalty is pet it, but you can only do that up to 3 times a day and have it matter.
Pets always matter.
But they give you a horrible... Like, mine got down to 40% at one point, and, like, when I went to hit the interaction with it, it's like, your Kubro cowers before you. I'm like, what? No.
I'm a monster.
Why would you say that? It is neat, though, because all the Kubros, they have a randomizer for the fur colors and kind of the fur length and the size, the physical size. And they have a different face sets, and it's all completely randomized, so everyone's looks fairly different.
Can I pay to get a corgi? That's my real question.
No. You can't buy them with real money. That's the other weird thing. Like, you can get like I think for 50 platinum or 60 platinum or something, you can get like a breeder set where it gives you like the egg and the incubator and stuff, but you still have to make. Oh, I guess that is buying them then at that point, because that essentially gives you everything to make one. You just have to wait for it to be made, which again seems odd because you just played a bunch of platinum for it. But
It just seems weird to me in some of these games where you can pay for some things and with real money and some things with in-game credits. It seems like, well, why don't you just allow everyone to pay for everything both ways?
yeah,
I mean, you
I
kind of
agree.
it seems like you win in the end as a developer, but
I would think so. I know the Warframe developers really want the best stuff in the game to not be able to be purchased.
and I think that makes sense where it's not like I just started the game and I have every frame because I have $200. It's like, well,
You
no,
could
that's probably not how that goes.
you could get most of the frames, but it probably man, frames are expensive because they're like 200 or 300 platinum, and 200 or 300 platinum is like $10. Maybe $200 is about right because I think there's 20 or 30
Oh
frames.
man, I need to
But
start my
like,
own business.
there's like a handful of frames that you can't get in the
Yeah,
store.
like you just have to get the drops and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
and I think that makes sense.
yeah. There's not a ton of them, but anyway, I really like the game a lot. It'll probably be a little bit before it's out on PS4. This update, I would guess probably 2 to 3 weeks, if that. But they're also enabling finally the ability for me to copy my PC save over to my PS4.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and that window ends on the 1st. So probably next Wednesday, I'm going to do it just to see if I can get some extra weapons before I transfer over. So
Yeah.
I will finally be more willing to play it on the PS4 if anyone else out there wants to play. But okay, anyway, last but not least, I played some Destiny.
Me
Um,
too.
I man, so I was really up on this game in the alpha, and I like the things they fixed in the beta, but having played the alpha, the beta feels way too much the same, and like fighting that tank again is not fun enough for me to
Yeah.
do a second time. So that's like I'm excited to play in the moon level today. I played a little bit of it and I liked it. It was a completely different environment. It was not the same map that we'd been seeing in the alpha and the beta. Um, so I'm kind of excited for that, and I like a lot of the improvements they made. But I really hope they work on their kind of like a seamless transition. Like if I could just stay on the planet and get those missions as I go instead of having to go back up,
Yeah.
I think that would be preferable. But
I
uh,
actually, my fiance and I were talking about this a bunch. I actually really like the having to go back to the tower every once in a while because I kind of like being able to go and like we're there going through our gear and like going through our skills and try and upgrade all of our weapons and try and find dead ghosts all around the tower. I kind of like that. I don't know why. I think in most games it would kind of drive me crazy where it's like, oh god, now I gotta go back here to drop this thing off to this dude. I don't know, but I feel like that game really needed a safe space in it because you don't really have anywhere safe on the Earth's surface.
I guess let me clarify a little bit because I really like the tower. I do.
Yeah,
I didn't realize there were dead ghosts in there.
there's a couple. Yeah,
I need to go look for those.
I gotta go right now.
um, but like my issue is like when I'm doing a mission on the planet and then it ends at one spot, and then the next
Right.
mission I get starts right from that spot,
Yeah, it's weird.
and like they kind of shortened it up, and I don't mind it so much. I just wish I had the option to continue doing it.
Kind of like the
Um,
explorer mission, where it's just sort of
yeah.
like there's just infinite missions here. Go crazy.
Well, and they don't like is the explorer mission in the beta? Because I don't think I saw it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. I've only played an hour or two of it. I got up to like level 7 and fought the tank once with a
Yeah.
bunch of strangers, and they all quit. And I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to play this mission again.
Well, hooray.
uh, I don't know. I like that game. I'm just kind of like I had kind of the same issue with Borderlands in that I really don't necessarily like doing most of the game more than once. Like there are certain parts of it that I think are fantastic, and there are certain parts that are really boring to me. But I I didn't really care for the Crucible stuff either.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit more of that. I'm glad that the stuff they have in the beta is point control. Um, but I that's not really my primary focus for a game like that. Like, I think my main concern for Destiny right now is just the one is load times, but that's optimization stuff. So they'll probably fix that the best they can by the time it launches. But I just, you can so directly compare this game to Borderlands that I hope that the final game has at least kind of the amount of content that Borderlands typically has. Because that game, those two games have so many missions and they have so much stuff to do in the world that I'm kind of hoping that Destiny will be equivalent and not really rest on, well, we've got this, we've got multiplayer, so go crazy. So
I was really hoping they'd up the level caps too.
I did too. I'm curious what the level cap is in the final game. Someone at work said 20 the other day, but that sounds awfully low.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. So I'm hoping
20?
it's higher than that.
Well, that makes me really, if it's 20, that really makes me question how much game is going to actually be offered.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I'm kind of not freaking out about any of this is because Bungie has had such a hard time explaining what their game is, and I didn't even really understand it until I played the alpha. So I feel like if the level cap's 20, who knows what it'll be by the time the game ends, or who knows what it'll eventually be if they have, more than 2 expansion packs or whatever. Everything in that game seems so confusing.
Well, and wasn't the because I assume everyone got the subclass in the game,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that starts until either 12 or 15 or something.
It's something like 15, yeah.
Yeah, so that would make the 20 level cap like that makes me think the 20 level cap is bunk because I would think
You'd hope it would
that
be
would
maybe 30 even.
Yeah, I was hoping for like 100.
That'd be great. I'll take it.
I mean, I don't know how much stuff they shoved in this game, but the more powers, the better.
Yeah, and I think my other thing too is, and this is really more of a want than a concern or a need, is I really want the Grimoire points to do something. They have all if you go to the website or you go to the companion app on your smartphone, the Grimoire stuff is all behind, like, backstory, world building stuff. And I really hope that in the final version that it's something like the badass tokens in Borderlands 2, where it can improve, at the very least, your character, if not kind of all of the characters that you have on your account. That might be a little bit of wishful thinking, but that'd be kind of nice.
That would be. And speaking of, that companion app, I think has a lot of good potential in it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, and it's more fully featured than I thought it would be.
Well, and having a map in your hand
is very, very nice.
Yes, that is. If everyone could just emulate that for their RPG exploratory games, I would appreciate it. Like even, I don't care, throw it in Skyrim too.
Yeah, I'll take it.
But anyway, yeah, that's all I played. We could still talk about Destiny if you guys want, but
well, we could just not talk about it and go play it.
Yeah.
All right, Mina, what about you?
So, I went on vacation for a week and
nice.
I didn't get a lot of gaming in. What I have decided, though, is that I'm probably giving up on Final Fantasy V, but hear me out as to why. I've had to restart this game 3 times now.
Oh, no.
So I'm at the point now where it's not just the jobs that are irritating me that I got. It's the fact that I've done this 3 times now, and I'm severely tired of doing it. So, just to run real quick, the first time I played, something happened, lost save files, ran it through a second time. Second time I made it to the crystals fight, and my party setup is one that struggles with taking down the crystals, and it was very, very frustrating. And I finally decided, I'm gonna look up as to what, because I can't be the first person to get this in Fiesta, right?
Right.
So I I was like, I'm looking it up, and they were like, make sure if you have berserkers and a thief, if you have a berserker and a thief, or actually just berserkers, I think it was, like, make sure you get a death scythe
Whoops.
or something like that. And I was like, a death scythe? Can I get those now? No, no, no. You have to get them before you go to World 2.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm going to outgrind this. I'm going to beat the crystals by outgrinding. I wasn't not able to beat the crystals by outgrinding them.
Yeah,
So,
that fight is way too tough. I mean, for even if you're playing with a party that you have chosen, it's way too tough.
I wondered how I beat it in the previous years, but apparently, like, I guess my blue mage in a previous year and my samurai or whatever just apparently just nuked
Yeah, just
the
gill
whole thing.
tossed them dead.
I think I just guild tossed and won.
Yeah. It's the easiest way.
I had like infinity money from grinding, so I was just like, guild toss, everybody, come on now, everybody sub
Keep
guild
on
toss
throwing.
So I'm pretty sure that's how I won, to be honest. And this year without that, I was just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Last year I also had the black mage. That's right. Anyways, so I restarted the game again and went through World 1, made sure to get the scythe, got all the way to the crystals, beat the crystals, and it's at that point that I'm like looking ahead at all the bosses and what possible things am I going to stumble across? What are all the pitfalls before me? And I saw what was ahead of me, and I looked at the game and I said, you know what? No.
Nope.
No.
We're okay for 2014.
I'm like, if you get Thief, Berserker, Ranger, Dancer, and don't get me wrong, Ranger is amazing. I can't deal with it anymore.
Well, the problem is you have 4 jobs that are all pretty okay as sort of your B tier groups or B tier jobs in other groups, but all 4 of them together is just sort of like, well, not only do I not have synergy between any of them, but they're all kind of okay. You don't have that one where it's like, all right, I got blue mage, all right, through vampire, I'm just gonna make it.
I mean, there wasn't a job that I could put everybody on the shoulders of and just basically power through the whole thing.
Yeah.
The thief, I really dislike.
It's real bad. It's really bad.
There have been no real like extreme pluses to it. Dancer, it's great when it works, and it's so bad when she's random. When she is completely random and she doesn't want to do what I want her to do, and is just like spinning around in circles. And
you're killing all of us.
Do something.
Yeah.
And then the Berserker, of course, is doing what the Berserker does, and I can't control that character, so that's off the rails. So the only character that's really doing significant amounts of damage is the Ranger, and the Ranger is just not strong enough with these other 3 classes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, and I know that there are ways to beat this game with this team because I saw how to do it, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah, what is it worth your sanity?
No, it is not.
Yeah.
And I decided, next year, here's what I pretty much said. Next year, if I start it and I get Thief Berserker, I am like immediately quitting, and I'm just gonna do a for fun Final Fantasy V run.
Yep.
And just be like, nope, screw it. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. This
play
is a
Final
lost
Fantasy
year.
2015 also done, because I do not like that at all.
No.
Not at all. So, Final Fantasy V done. What I did instead, though, was because I still have Final Fantasies that I have never beaten, was I picked up 6, and I decided I'm going to play and beat 6, because I've beaten 5 before.
Yeah.
So, I'm at the part now in 6, because this has been like a couple of weeks now, so I don't remember too much about everything that's happened. I'm at the part now where the party has split up into three groups.
Yeah.
At like uh on a raft, and Tara's gotten thrown off the raft or something. I have no idea. They're all split up. And the last thing I remember doing was Cyan's castle water has been poisoned by Kefka,
Yeah.
and I'm traveling with
Gal,
the
maybe?
monk. What
Oh,
is the
yeah.
monk's name?
Sabin?
The Sabin.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I've got Cyan and Sabin right now, and I saved, and that is pretty much all I remember about 6. I'll pick it up and I'll remember more stuff for next month, but I really like 6, and I remember the last spot that I made it to in 6 was, I think, when you meet up with Gao, but I don't remember if it's like the first or second or whatever time you meet up with him.
Yeah.
But whenever you meet up with him, that's where I stopped playing 6 a long, long, long time ago. So whenever that happens, the game will be brand new from there on.
Boy, I hope you enjoy that game, because I think that's certainly one of the better ones in the series.
I've heard that, so I'm looking forward to it. Since I went on vacation, I brought my Vita with me, and even though I had, probably 30 games to pick and play from, I was like, I'm gonna play Persona 4 Golden, because even though I've got 30 games on here that I've never played, probably not even for 2 seconds, you know what? I'm gonna play Golden.
Those other games don't have Chie in them. So.
They do not. So, I decided to max out the difficulty, and I was like, I'm just gonna make this as hard as possible for me, because I really love this game and I like harming myself. So, I'm in Yukiko's castle, and I want to say that Shadow Yukiko kicked my butt. I want to say, if I can remember, because I kind of just tried. I wanted to power through it in a single day, like in a single TV session. Basically, go in, go straight to Yuki, and I don't have the Fox helper, so there's no heals or anything. So once I power through all the way to her, and all whatever amount of potions or whatever I have, that's it. And she kicked my butt, so I decided I probably needed maybe 2 TV sessions.
Yeah.
TV World. So, that's where I stopped there, and I got back from vacation, and that's about when I decided my whole Final Fantasy 5 and 6 thing. And instead of popping in another game that I've never played before, I was like, you know what? I would much rather play than all the other games that I could possibly be playing right now. I think I want to play some Dark Cloud 2.
Hell yeah, you do. Because that game is awesome.
So I popped in Dark Cloud 2, and because I know how everything goes in this game, up until a certain point where things are a little more random, I got to one of the cutscenes when you're in the sewers, and at the end of the cutscene, I'm just enjoying it happily, and there's a little loading screen and a little loading bar just going loading, 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 loading. And I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to be loading for 10 minutes.
Uh-oh.
It's probably not good, and I have not saved.
Uh-oh.
Which is really, 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 really dumb, by the way. If you play... the save time is literally nothing. Okay? So just save. But I was like, it's okay, because I know I can get back to here. I only spent like an hour and a half getting here. I could totally do this again. And so I restarted it, and I, was doing it all. And of course, I didn't think about saving. I get all the way to that cutscene, and I'm just gonna skip this cutscene, and just because I've already seen it. And I see the little loading screen. It's loading, loading, and I'm like, oh, did I? No. Why? What is wrong with me? I was supposed to save.
Oh man.
At least once. So, miracles upon miracles, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this a 3rd time. Except this time, I'm saving after every time I complete a floor.
Yeah.
So, of course, that time I managed to skip that right past that. I get all the way to the train where you get on the train and then you fight the boss that's throwing bombs or firing missiles or something at the train you're on, and you have to throw bombs back. I got it. I was this close to failing it, and because of the way they have it all set up, I want to say that you actually have to beat two bosses back to back, maybe? No, because I didn't save. Because I didn't save again. That's why. So I saved before the first boss, and then there's a save point before you go into this boss, which I had completely forgotten about for some reason. And I was like, oh, and then when I saw the boss, I was like, oh, this is no problem. Except the angle you have to throw these bombs at his moving vehicle that he's bouncing across from one side of the train to the other. The bomb, like, even though I'm angling it what I think would be right, it just goes way over his head, or it doesn't bounce as far. Yet so if I face okay, imagine like an X basically. If I face directly right, it doesn't go far enough for some reason to hit the bad guy. If I am at an angle like 90 degrees, not like no, like if I'm in between, if I'm basically making an X, basically a small triangle, and I'm diagonal throwing the bomb, it does go far enough, which doesn't make sense to me, because I would think that if you're facing completely at the right, the bomb would lob farther and hit him.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So you have to at an angle, and I don't know. So I was really confused, and that's why I ended up nearly failing on that boss, because I was like, okay, maybe I need to move closer to the edge and throw it. But then one time I accidentally threw it at an angle and it hit him dead on. I was like, is that how you're supposed to do it?
Yeah.
So then I threw it at an angle again, and it was a success. I was like, okay, I just keep doing this, and I had like a sliver of health left on the train, and I was like, oh my god, that was almost bad.
Jeez.
So I got to the next area on Dark Cloud 2, and that's where I made sure to save as soon as I was able to. I was like, save. We're not going anywhere until I find a save point, because I don't remember what happens next. If there's another boss and I'm just going to be thrown in there and be like, why didn't you save? We put the save point right in front of you.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like the save point was out of my way at any point in time. The save point was right there in front of me, and I made a decision to walk past the save point.
Just walked right around it.
Not even save at it. Even when so there's a save point outside of a dungeon, and when you go into the dungeon, before you go and click on any floors, you have the opportunity to save there.
Oh, yeah.
And I chose not to save at either place. And
good times.
I deserved everything I got, basically. I couldn't get mad at the game. I couldn't be like, stupid game, you didn't give me a save point.
Yeah, the hell.
It was basically, oh, I'm so dumb. But I did make sure that I took a picture. As soon as I got the camera, I remembered that every boss has like a special picture that you need to take.
Oh, that's right.
So I remembered that. As soon as they gave me the camera, I was like, okay, I remember every boss has a special pose that I need to get a picture of.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, the elephant.
God, that game is so weird.
I for some reason I was really dumb on what was the jack-o'-lantern's name? Halloween. The Halloween was the name of the clown thing. I was really dumb and kept trying to take a picture of the wrong movement, because I thought this looks like what you would want to take the picture of, but that wasn't it. It was a really random pose, and I was like, oh, okay. I've been trying to take the wrong picture for 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
That was also kind of the reason why I was getting frustrated with the whole train business, was because I took so long to take a picture of that Halloween that I knew that if I had to go and do that all over again, I was going to be super frustrated. That was all I played, I think. Boston?
We already talked about Destiny, but I started another run on a dog barking outside. On Final Fantasy V. I started a random run. I don't think I talked about this last month, did I?
No, but I
No.
think I heard you on TVGP.
Okay, so for the 4-job Fiesta, for anyone listening that may not know, there's a bunch of different modes that you can make the game a lot harder if you really choose to. So I decided to do a random run. So what happens there is the bot that gives you your jobs. For your first crystal, he'll give you a first crystal job. For the second one, he can give you a first or second one, and then third, first 3, fourth, first 4. So my party, because this game totally hates me, is Blue Mage, Black Mage, Berserker, Summoner. So really weird party. Blue Mage makes it pretty easy, and Summoner makes it not so bad. Both of them make it a really farmy game to get all of my spells. But there's not a ton of great synergy between all of them. If I could have traded out my Black Mage for a White Mage, I'd probably be a nearly unstoppable party. But as of now, it's an okay party that's probably just going to take me a while to get everything, so I'll just have to level up as I'm doing that, I guess. So I haven't really been playing too much of that. I'm almost to the point where I'm at the werewolf village in World 2, and I just sort of said, I need to take a break from this for right now. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy V, and I don't want to burn myself out too much. But other than Destiny and Final Fantasy V, that's all I've been playing. So let's take a break. So I'm
right.
here. Oh my god. Okay, well at least we have almost an hour, because we have really nothing in this last segment.
I tried to stretch out what I did.
I appreciate it. We that was a good first segment. All right, let me know whenever you guys are ready to start here.
I think I'm good.
I'm good too.
Okay, let's knock this out so I can go to a cooler room. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about RPG releases for August 2014. Actually, this one is in June, but it got announced recently. Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky coming to the PC on the 29th. So, like tomorrow, if you're listening to this episode when it comes out. It's coming out to Steam, and I think it's coming to GOG as well.
It is.
Okay, cool. So, that game is supposed to be super great. I never really made it to the point on the PSP version where it really takes off, but I was enjoying what I played for about probably the first 3 or so hours of it. But happy to see that's coming to PC, and I know the second one is getting translated and that'll come to PC too. So, yes.
It's really, really good. I'm probably going to wait for a Steam sale, though.
Yeah. I don't remember if they said how much it's going to be when it comes out.
I think I know it. I know it's on Steam already for pre-purchase. I thought I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I can wait.
Yeah, it doesn't have a price yet on Steam.
All right, let me.
Weird. Well, either way, it's supposed to be super great. So, and during a Steam sale, it'll probably be like $2 anyway. So. Next up, we have Sacred 3 coming out for the PS3 and 360 on the 5th. We have Disgaea 4: A Promise Revisited coming out on the Vita on the 12th, which I'm kind of interested in. I haven't played a Disgaea since 2, and I didn't finish that one. So maybe it's time for another one, maybe? We'll see. Sonoma BG in chat says also Sacred 3 is coming to PC. Tales of Xillia 2 is already coming out for PS3 on the 19th. So hopefully that one is good. I hear it's a little bit better than the first one. Something about having to pay back some $1 million debt or something. Sounds weird. Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition coming out for PS4 and maybe Xbox One? The listing was a little confusing. On the 19th. And Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair coming out on the Vita on the 2nd of September. Yay!
I'm so excited for that.
I still need to finish the...
Oh man. I've completely media blacked out that game. Like, people have been like shoving things in my face. I'm like, no, I don't want to know character names. I don't want to know. I don't want to see portraits.
I don't need to know anything.
That game needs to be spoiler free.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so excited. I'm so glad that the first one did well enough that the second one can come out. And the only news story we have this time is Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. It's coming out on November 25th in the US. Yay!
Happy Thanksgiving!
Yeah, exactly. I know what I'll be doing during the holiday.
Yep.
But that's the only news story that I've seen. Did you guys see anything interesting this past month? It was kind of quiet.
My head's already filled with Comic-Con stuff, so I got nothing.
Yeah.
It's not really anything game related, but the Persona 4 Golden the animation has started, which was what spurred on my gaming.
Oh, right. How is it so far?
So, if you've watched the first one and you're like, man, I really hope this one doesn't retread stuff I've already seen, it does not retread any of it.
Oh, nice.
So, it's actually kind of odd. I don't think... If you haven't watched the first one, you probably should watch the first one because that will actually tell you the story. Because the second one is like, this is Marie. We are going to be showing tons and tons and tons of this character.
Yeah.
So I hope you really like Marie. And I don't like Marie. But it's trying to go over a lot of the stuff that wasn't shown in the first anime. Maybe like some scenes that were missing, or
like some side stuff.
Yeah, some of the Golden exclusive stuff.
Yeah.
So I think actually for those people out there who are like, I didn't buy the Golden version, what was different about it? Just watch the animation.
Here you go.
Find out. So it goes real fast too. The first episode is it covers basically what the first episode of the first one actually does, but with more Marie. And then the second one does Yukiko's castle, and it's done. But it doesn't really do. It doesn't have Yukiko's castle really. It's just kind of like that's the whole segment of Yukiko's castle.
Oh, weird.
Each one adds like a character, but they don't introduce them. It's just like, oh, you've already been here this entire time. We're just gonna talk to you like we've always been here.
Yeah.
So if you're like trying to follow it, you're kind of like, what is going on? They're jumping around a whole bunch, but yeah.
Interesting.
No dungeon stuff.
Weird. We actually don't have any emails or tweets this month, so that's the end of our episode. So as someone said last month, 2 hours of what you've been playing, 2 minutes of everything else. So that's the good ratio here. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Email us at fans@pickingupthepixels.com. Tweet us at pickinguppixels. No "the" in there. Musim, where should we find you now?
Musum.bandcamp.com.
There you go. Mina, how about you?
Twitch.tv/Minako Rocket, Minako Rocket.
There we go. All right, you can find my other stuff at e1m1.com. Thank you very much, Musim and Mina, for joining me yet again.
Pleasure as always.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you all next month. Adios. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching us live here. I'm going to go melt somewhere else. Adios. Bye.
Bye.